Ohayo. Welcome to the So Japanese podcast, a podcast where we talk about all things Japan from a
Japanese
and a foreign perspective. We are your hosts. My name is John.
My name is Ryusuke.
Thank you for joining us today.
ありがとうございます。
Today's episode is, I guess, like a continuation of the last podcast. So today we're going to talk about just in general drugs in Japan.
Drugs in Japan.
Yeah. And then we'll have like the cannabis one, we'll have a drug edition of street level Japanese, just what the drug names are called in Japan.
Sounds good.
So let's start off by asking Ryusuke, like other than weed growing up, what were some drugs that were popular or that you saw people were doing?
When I was teenager, my older friend, they always have some like bag.
Okay.
Like a clear vinyl bag.
Okay.
With some clear liquid in there.
Okay.
And then they keep put on the back on their mouth and nose.
Okay.
And smoke, how to say, like inhaling. Yes, inhale. And then that they call Shinna. But I just figured out this is actually paint thinner.
So that's just
thinner.
the Japanese of thinner.
Exactly.
Shinna.
Yeah, we call Shinna.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, when I see my friend was doing it, I really kind of like, wow, I shouldn't do it. Then I never done. Because these people, after they did, they start talking by themselves. Point the sky and says like, oh, the stars, oh, the moons, blah, 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 blah. They're like out of mind.
Okay.
They're somewhere else.
Okay.
And sometimes they even drive.
Really?
One time I have to get in the car with my older friend, because in Japan, again, like an older friend is like boss.
Okay.
Can't say no.
Okay.
But I was so scared. Then I'm like, I don't want to do it. And then it smells like shit in the car. I almost get high too.
Interesting.
Because obviously, right?
So they're just doing it openly?
Yes, yeah.
Like they're not trying to hide it, or?
They're kind of hiding. And so one guy, he always wear long sleeve, like a jacket.
Okay.
And then he always do like this.
Oh, so he hides the bag in his sleeve.
In the sleeve, exactly. And then they just always cover the face
yes.
with the sleeve.
Yes.
But that means they actually have inside the sleeve with the bag of paint thinner.
How hard are they inhaling?
They go quite hard. What I see, it's like, basically it's like inhale and exhale. So it's really, they breathe a lot.
Okay. So we'll talk about it later, but we find out that paint thinner or like inhaling solvents is like the second most common drug of choice in Japan.
Yeah, right?
I suppose it's because of like with the zero tolerance nature of their laws about all drugs. People, in general, people want to get high.
Yeah.
And if, I guess, good illegal drugs are hard to find, you're resorting to
something else that you need to find out.
Right?
Especially we are
you can just go to a hardware store.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other drugs?
Oh, and that was like when I was like early teenage.
Okay.
And then when I get like 18, 19, there was popular drugs. Obviously, everybody know magic mushroom.
Okay.
On that time, you can, I mean, like at the shop, they're selling magic mushroom. But as you can buy it to watch it. It doesn't make any sense.
Like a decoration or?
Exactly. Decoration or like, yeah, basically like home decoration, right?
Okay.
But, you know, like they're selling in a packet. And like, I always saying that like, who's going to fucking watch this dry mushroom and then, you know.
It's obviously to consume.
Exactly.
What kind of shops?
It was like a clothing shop, like young clothing shop,
Really?
skater.
So it's not even like a head shop where you buy like
No.
rolling papers and bongs and shit.
No. I mean, like they sell those rolling paper and everything.
Okay.
If you know Japan, it's called Village Vanguard.
Yeah, Village
which
Vanguard.
Is they sell books
Like
and like
little trinkets, gadgets.
And
clothes. Anything like hip.
like hip and
Yeah.
like more westernized.
It's a chain. Village Vanguard,
Yeah. But it wasn't Village Vanguard.
Oh, that type of store.
But that type of store.
Okay.
It's close to my house. It's like 5 minutes walk from my house.
Uh-huh.
So my house is not even in a city.
Okay.
So imagine, I think,
the city, yeah.
because I didn't really looking for these mushrooms, but I believe that if you go in the city and then goes to those shop, for sure you can buy so many different type of mushrooms. But then after couple years, people actually died because of like they got too high. They think they can fly, so they jump off of the building, or someone get paranoid, driving car like quite fast, then got crashed, and police recognized that because of those young people are using this mushroom, and after that they burned them.
No, it's illegal. Okay.
Yep.
How do Japanese people see hard drugs?
Oh, it's bad.
So just like with weed, it's all the same.
Exactly.
It's all the same.
Exactly.
What do they call drugs in Japan?
Mayaku.
Mayaku. That's like
It's like
bad drug or like pharmaceuticals too.
no.
So
Only the bad drug.
Tylenol,
Tylenol, kusuri. We say kusuri.
and those are for that's like medical drugs.
Exactly.
So bad drugs, narcotics, mayaku.
Mayaku.
Okay. So yeah, I guess paint thinner or any solvents people are inhaling because it's a cheap way to get fucked up, right? Being an island, hard to get drugs. Drugs are super expensive. So like I said in the last podcast, again, these prices are back then. I don't know the prices now, but like weed was $50 a gram. Ecstasy was $50 a pill. I think back home at that time was like $5 to $10 or something like that. Cocaine was $300 a gram.
Oof.
I only did it a couple times, but yeah, super, super, super expensive. So I guess that's why
They need to go for those cheap drugs. Yeah.
So let's talk about the law. So again, Japan is strict, but not super, super strict like Singapore, Malaysia, China, Indonesia, where you can get executed for drug offenses. Like long prison sentences, but you're not going to... Like, I remember going to Southeast Asia in the airports. There's signs everywhere saying drug offenses or whatever violations. Is subject to like death
sentence.
But you don't see those signs in Japan.
No.
So using or possessing methamphetamine or heroin carries a potential 10-year prison sentence. MDMA, cocaine, magic mushrooms is punishable with 7 years imprisonment. Possession of solvents such as paint thinner, you can go to jail for up to 1 year and a $4,000 fine. So like I said before, apparently inhaling solvent fumes is the second most popular form of drug use in Japan. Methamphetamines, number 1. Inhaling solvents, number 2. And then I think marijuana, number 3, which is super strange.
Why?
Like,
what do you mean?
In general, I would think, well, the statistics show that, like, I guess in most countries, cannabis is the number 1 drug, right? So Japan has 125 million people. This Keio University did a study, although I don't really believe it because Japan being drugs being so illegal in Japan, I don't know where they're getting this information from. Like, who's going to tell this university research that, oh, yes, I do drugs, right? 3% of the population have used illegal drugs in their lives, compared to 40% in Western countries like the US, Canada, UK, Australia, which is a super big difference. But
but because of they don't tell truth.
In Western countries, you're not going to get arrested by saying, yes, I do drugs. But I think the fear and the stigma of drug use in Japan makes people lie about it. So these statistics, I don't really believe. So going back to like how in Western countries, cannabis is always number one. And then cocaine, number two. But in Japan, methamphetamine, number one. So more than 80% of drug arrests in Japan involve methamphetamine. Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy. So it makes Japan really like special in terms of their drug of choice. I guess maybe meth, you can make it in-house.
Yeah, so like again, because it's island, you're really difficult to, if you can grow
cocoa leaves.
Exactly. Then the next thing's like, how can we make something like drug, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we know, speaking to friends, that actually in Japan, the method of choice to do meth is shooting it up, which is very surprising. Because I feel like that's super hardcore, but I think it's because it's super expensive.
So they want to feel it.
They want to...
So how they do, I mean, how Western culture do with meth?
Smoke or snort if it's crystallized form.
Okay, so like cocaine.
Or you just smoke it. Shooting it, I guess it's common, but I think meth is cheap in Western countries. But in Japan, I think all drugs are so expensive. So it's a way to get it straight into your bloodstream. You just need a little bit, you know, it's to extend the drug. I guess that's it. But shooting it, you can get really super addicted, I suppose.
Right?
Yeah. Hardcore.
Wow.
So the question is, why is meth the drug of choice in Japan? So I suppose because it's a country of workaholics, like it makes them able to work longer, harder, right? People in Japan really want to have that one job for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
They're totally happy with being with one company for their whole life.
Which is so weird.
Pretty weird, right?
Yeah.
But I think the idea of having a permanent job is really important. It's like status to them, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think if you leave a company, it's hard to
get new job. Because you won't get same
level.
You
got to start
same status. Yeah.
You got to start back from the bottom.
Mostly, yeah.
And a lot of companies do new hiring either in-house or through the pool of new graduates.
Exactly.
So if you've been working for a company for 10 years and you leave it, it's very hard. You're competing against fresh graduates, right?
Yeah. Which is, they don't want to be with them because like they're like, I'm old. You're like 20. Why I have to work with you? Like, why I have to do the same job?
And you're going to get a entry-level salary as well, right?
Yeah.
So I guess heroin, pot, it makes it so you can't really function that well. So
I don't know.
I guess that's why you don't... people in Japan don't do those drugs as much, right? You work from 9 in the morning to 10 at night. You don't have time to get fucked up like that. But you have time to help you work.
Yeah.
And you do meth.
Yeah.
Another reason why meth is so popular in Japan is because World War II, after it ended. So during World War II, a lot of countries, I think the UK, Germany, especially Japan as well, would give their soldiers and any like wartime workers meth to help them
To
stay up,
stay
stay alert, focus.
You can fight.
Exactly. You're so fucked up. You don't care about killing people. So they fed soldiers meth. But once the war ended, there was like a stockpile of methamphetamine. So these pharmaceutical companies had all this leftover stuff. So they were selling it to the public markets.
Yep.
And they were selling it as a drug to like help you work, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's called Hiropon.
Hiropon.
Yeah.
Hiro means
Hiro. Well, so there's a two way they're thinking. In Japanese way, hiro is tiredness. Yeah. So which is called Hiropon.
okay.
And then there's a two way. One is in Japanese. Hiro means tiredness.
Okay.
And then pong, it's like a sound of like go away. Pong.
So onomatopoeia for
just yeah.
it goes away. Pong.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So that means like if you take this drug, so your tiredness is gone.
Pong.
You can still work. Yeah, and then there's another way. The Hiropon is actually from Philopon, which is in Greek. And then in Greek, philo means love, and then pon is work. So love of work.
So it's a drug to help you love work.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So either way, this is definitely fucked up situation.
So this caused many, many, many people
Addicted to Hiropon.
right?
Yeah.
As well as in Japan, they don't really record overdose deaths because they want to pretend that there's no drug problem in the country, right? So a lot of deaths that are actually from overdose, they just say it's from heart failure.
Oh no.
Reason why is that if I say it's heart failure, there's no statistics on overdosing, then we can say that there's no drug problem in Japan.
So they want to hide, basically.
They want to hide it, right?
That's so Japanese.
That's so Japanese, yeah.
Yeah.
A very Japanese way of like not dealing with the problem. It's not
Just hide.
recording these statistics, right?
So it doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that brings another problem, right? Because there's no drug problem in Japan, therefore there's no money put in, there's no infrastructure to help these addicts. With the, like I said before, zero tolerance attitude to drugs, there's a big stigma. People don't want to admit they have a problem because they'll lose their job, lose their friends, lose their family. It ruins their life, right? So I guess they don't get help. And as well as if drugs keep to be, how do you say, if drugs are illegal and there's no kind of like, how do you say, you're going to have to cut this.
Okay.
What do I want to say? So with drug prohibition, it makes drugs deadlier because there's no control, right? Government can't control it. So these drug dealers can put anything in the product, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that's why a lot of these countries like Portugal decriminalize all drugs. And you can buy like drug testing kits in stores to check the purity, right? Especially with this, like, I don't think it's recent, but this fentanyl problem. People are cutting, I think mostly heroin
Okay.
with fentanyl.
Okay.
Super strong.
Okay.
you can die very easily. You can overdose really easily.
Yeah.
But because they're cutting with these unadulterated products, you don't know what you're taking really. So if it's like super prohibited, there's going to be a lot of deaths.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, for example, you taking alcohol, but you don't know on the label that if it's 1% alcohol or 40%.
I see.
Right?
Yeah.
So you can get fucked up.
But you still do in a same amount of like drugs.
Exactly. You don't know, right? If I knew that, okay, this shit is harder, I'm going to take less. But because you don't know.
You do like same way. And I guess it won't come to in your mind right away. So you do like couple. And then when you notice, you know you're not you anymore.
That's why a lot of countries nowadays, Western countries, have like, what are they called? Like clean, maybe not clean, safe places where you can shoot your drugs.
Okay.
Right? Toronto has a couple.
Okay.
There's nurses,
Yeah.
needles.
Yeah.
What are they called actually? We should actually say it properly. Safe needle. So I think they're just called safe injection sites.
Okay.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you recognize that your population has addicts. You can't just take it away; they'll die.
Anyway,
so they're gonna use. So might as well they can use it safely, monitored. If they overdose, there's medical personnel. Ensure that there's clean needles, right? A safe place to like get high. You're not just lying anywhere in the streets, right? But because Japan is pretending like there's no drug problem, there's no such thing, right?
Yeah.
There's
there's no such a thing. Yeah.
So this brings us to alcohol. So in Japan, there's an estimated 6.5 million alcoholics. So they think that alcohol is fine because Shinto ceremonies use alcohol, right?
Yeah.
They don't really see it as an illness, alcoholism. They think that binge drinking is not a problem either. The amount of cigarettes they smoke.
Yeah, exactly. I always thinking.
The amount of alcohol they drink in Japan.
Most of the Japanese people drink every fucking day.
So the country doesn't even treat those two items as drugs. So they don't see them as drug addicts. I think in Western countries, they recognize alcohol as a drug, nicotine's a drug. If you smoke and drink every day, you're a drug addict.
Even caffeine, right?
Even caffeine. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. No, like, again, like, that's why, like, they don't have so many drugs, I guess, which is good. But then all the Japanese people get alcoholic. And then obviously, smoking cigarette is huge problem, right?
I mean, it would be okay if the population or the country recognizes alcohol and nicotine as drugs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then people would have a better understanding. Right? Going back to the meth and giving it to their soldiers, they would give it to kamikaze pilots, right?
Yes. Yeah. Because obviously, like, when they chosen to kamikaze, which means you're going to die.
It's like kamikaze pilots were what? They only plane?
Yeah, only plane.
Only plane.
Yeah, only plane. Only one way fill the gas.
So
and then,
to make sure that you can't come back.
I mean, like there's no enough gas, and then there's no enough weapons. That's why the Japanese army were devastating. Is that right to say? Okay. It's like they don't have anything else, but they don't want to give it up.
Okay.
So this is the last choice. Okay, we have a plane, we have a human, we don't have enough fuel, gas. All right, one way. Go for this country.
Okay.
But then, of course, like I don't think like normal mindset, you can't really say yes, or you can't even really go.
Exactly.
So then meth is the thing.
So you're able to fly long distances.
Fly around. Exactly. And you can focus.
And not care that you're going to fly into a ship.
Yeah. And so as the factory worker too.
Okay.
During World War II. Because they need to keep working to, to make more weapons and then everything. But they don't even have enough food. So meth is fixing all the problem. People can work longer. They don't need to eat. They have energy for doing this. So this is, to me, it's really fucked up too.
So they considered, I guess, methamphetamine as like a pharmaceutical drug, right? So apparently data shows that 64% of the population in Japan use prescription drugs such as like tranquilizers, sleeping medication, or benzodiazepines like antidepressants, which I guess they don't think it's a drug because I can get it from the doctor.
I think so. I mean, I think the Japanese mindset is like, if it's not illegal, then okay.
Okay.
Once it's illegal, that means everybody's watching you. It's not about like actually illegal or legal to me.
Yeah.
It's all about like how people think about you using those illegal things. Because Japanese people are very, how can I say, they go with the law. They're always
they follow the law.
They follow the law. They follow the rule.
So just like with like marijuana, not super harmful, can actually help you, right? With pain, other things. But because it's illegal, it's just bad.
It's just bad.
They can't use their open mind and think of it differently. It's just all bad.
Yeah, and then the worst thing is like they don't even talk, right? Because they don't want to talk. They don't want to say drugs. They don't want to say mayaku. They don't want to say weed. They don't want to say taima. They don't want to say shina. Like
So they pretend like they don't know.
They don't know anything.
Yeah. Because if you know a little bit, people might think that, you use
have
it.
You? Right? Yeah. So it's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Right.
So with pharmaceutical drugs, a lot of drugs in Japan, pharmaceutical wise, is banned too. Like, so I know Adderall and Oxy is like super, super regulated. So as there were stories about English teachers going to Japan, foreign English teachers that have Adderall or Oxy prescriptions back home. Their prescriptions do not work in Japan, obviously, but they still need those drugs.
Yeah.
So their family members would send these drugs with the prescription to Japan, mail it to them, and then these people in Japan, they get caught and go to jail.
Yeah.
So if you need certain drugs, medical drugs, please do your research and check if they are legal in Japan, if your prescription works in Japan. If not, and you need them, maybe Japan's not
the one you need to go. I mean, definitely
not the country. Yeah. Exactly.
You lose your freedom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are there ways to get high in Japan, like legally? Like, I guess paint thinner is, you can get it legally. But are there other drugs?
Yeah, actually, like, I think one time there was one legal drug was really popular. In Japanese, we call goho herb.
Goho hub?
Yeah, goho is legal.
Okay.
Herb is herb.
Oh.
So legal herb.
Legal herb. Okay.
Yeah. And it's, in English, it's synthetic cannabinoids.
Okay, I think I've never used it before, but I've seen them in like head shops and stuff like that. I think we call it spice.
Okay.
Does it look like weed? Does it look like
they look like
it's
weed.
like a flower?
Yeah. I mean, more leaves, but
And it's like when you buy it, is it already ground up or
no, completely ground up.
So you can see it's like a plant?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know how they exactly make, but what I know is basically there's a scientist. They always changing little bit of like
the molecule or something.
So it's always go through to the law.
Okay.
So you don't get arrested.
Yes.
Because of they can show scientifically the paper and then says like, yeah, this is no THC.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah. It's like a loophole.
Exactly.
They just change a bit of it.
Yeah.
And then once the government catches on and makes that illegal, they just change it again a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So it just keep going.
Yeah.
But this is same as basically the magic mushroom. At some point, people get crazy. Maybe because people don't know how much, right?
Exactly. So if it's legal or decriminalized, there'd be education about it, and you would dose like a good amount, not just eat the whole bag of mushrooms and you get so fucked up, right?
Because there's no even description, right?
Yeah.
Basically, you think, oh, I'm gonna get high with this. All right, let's smoke. Or let's eat. But then you don't know how much is good for you, right? Some people can drink like 25% alcohol easily, but some people, if they drink like 3% of beer, they get wrecked.
Yeah.
So same thing as drug, but again, because of there's no such things, like everything is basically illegal, and the black market just trying to sell without putting like more information.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
have you tried this synthetic stuff?
Yeah.
And
it was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really like a weed.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how it affecting your body is like not like weed. Yeah.
So if to describe the high, it's like weed?
Yes, what I remember, because I only tried like 1 or 2 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how is it like grown or they spray shit on a plant?
That I don't know.
Right?
Maybe they spray something.
Right? Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not interested to try it just because weed is for sure better. And
For sure. Yeah, you don't need to try.
But do you feel sick or like
yeah, like
headachy,
next day I
like
think
that?
I get like hangover
Okay.
type of feeling.
Is it expensive?
Yes. Like $50 for like 1 or 2 gram.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's a problem with being in a country that drugs are so illegal. The population still wants to get high, still wants to have fun, and they are forced to do these legal fucked up drugs. To me, that's more fucked up than any hard drug,
For sure.
right?
I think so.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
Is it super addicting too, or no? It's like weed.
Well, I don't get too addicted to anything, so
Okay.
I was okay. But well, no, like all my friends wasn't really enjoying it because like tastes weird too.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just roll it in a joint.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think Japan will? Because all these drug problems come from like their zero tolerance policies on drugs. Do you think Japan will ever change their stance on these drugs?
I don't think it's easy to change because it's just again like same as weed. We all mind control, and like it's so difficult to get out from the in a reality people are judging to use drug, right? And that's why alcohol is okay. You can drink as much as you want, and you can sleep at the station. You don't feel shame.
Yeah, that's to me super shameful.
Right?
But that's fine.
That's fine, and they're just gonna laugh.
Yeah.
But
if like someone is sleeping on the train from other drugs, that looks super bad all of a sudden. But it looks the same. It looks the same, right? They're saying that because with immigration in Japan now, they open their borders. They're giving citizenship to foreigners. Hopefully, more and more of that happening. You're bringing in people with a different mindset on drugs. Maybe over time things will change. And apparently now courts are actually, at least they're still sentencing you, but at least they're listening to the reasons why you are doing drugs. So I'm a cancer patient. I'm growing weed because it helps with my pain. Or I'm doing heroin to disassociate from past trauma. So those are the reasons why I'm doing it, and therefore that's why I'm an addict. At least they're apparently listening to these people's reasons now, rather than just not listening and you're bad, you're an addict, we'll throw you in jail.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like drugs in all around the world should be decriminalized. Right?
I mean, yeah. Well, there's a drug. It heals your headache, or it numbs your pain. But there's some drugs you get high, or you get feeling good. So I know some people take so many pills every day just because they believe that they need to take. But is that good for your body?
No.
Isn't that killing your system?
Yeah.
Right? So I really don't know what's the difference. It's just because of like the one drugs, it makes you more feeling good.
Yeah.
And that makes people more attractive. Then somehow it's not good for economy.
I guess countries feel that if the drug, the whole point of it is just to feel good, it's bad. But alcohol, right? That's what people use it for, right? I feel like all drugs should be not only decriminalized, but like treated like alcohol. The number one drug in the world, alcohol, right? You can regulate it.
Yeah.
There would be less deaths, more education about it, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Yeah, so again, like Japan it's not that strict as other Asian country, I guess. But it's just because like you don't need to die. Why? Because once you get arrested, basically your life is done. Everybody judging you.
Yeah.
You don't get the good job.
Yeah, you get like shunned, you get shamed in society.
Maybe you don't ever see your family.
When I travel to different countries, visit different cities, I make a point to pick up weed. I find it like it's like tourism in itself. I'll go to, I guess, the shady neighborhoods, suss it out, you know, talk to people who I think I need to talk to get it. But in Japan, without me living there and knowing people, I wouldn't know where to start. Like, for example, we're going to Japan tomorrow. We're foreigners. We're going to Japan. Where do I go? Where do you think you would go? Do I go to Kabukicho?
To ask someone?
Right?
Yeah, no.
Like, it's so hidden there.
It's so hidden. And then the person who has, they don't trust you first. So
exactly.
It has to be something like you know already someone to trust. Yeah. And it's still risky, by the way. So
yeah, super risky.
Super risky. I don't recommend you just drink alcohol.
Yeah, Japan is just not the country for drugs if you're just a tourist, right? If you want to do drugs and travel, go to other countries.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But I really find it like fun.
I guess, right?
I find it fun. Like you see a different part of town. Like tourists don't go there really, right? I remember even in Cuba, we went and I tried to pick up weed. That was probably like the most dangerous, just because it's a super communist country.
Yeah.
Right. And like I ended up getting, but super expensive. But I think it helped because I was Asian. I'm Asian.
Okay.
Obviously, you're a foreigner.
I see.
Right. So like us being Asian, going to Japan to get it. Are you a cop? Are you like are you a native person? But if you go to a country that obviously I'm not Cuban, you can trust me.
Yeah.
I'm obviously a tourist.
Yeah.
Anyway, this brings us to our street level Japanese segment.
Street Japanese.
We're just gonna go through some drug names.
Hi.
So what do they call ecstasy?
Batsu.
Batsu.
Yeah. Because it's X. That's
like
C. That means X in Japanese is batsu batsu.
Batsu.
Yeah.
Is a way to say like
Dame.
Dame.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's funny in Japan. No is and yes is bing bong or
Bing bong.
MDMA is the same.
It's the same. Yeah.
Okay. Speed or meth?
Shabu
Shabu.
or ice.
Ice. So like if you send your dealer an ice cream emoji,
I guess. Yeah.
because in Japan ice cream is ice.
Yeah. And then like I don't really watch, but sometimes I watch like Yakuza or something, and then they always say shabu.
Shabu.
Yeah.
Shabu. I'm not sure if that's like from the Philippines. They get shabu. I think that's what they call.
Oh,
meth there.
really?
Yeah.
So maybe
Shabu.
that's why. Yeah.
Not like
No shabu shabu.
No
Not
shabu
the
shabu.
hot pot. Yeah.
Cocaine.
Cocaine. Chadi,
Chadi.
which is bicycle.
So chadi is bicycle, and they call it chadi because it sounds like Charlie.
Cherry. Exactly.
And Charlie
Or-
is or they say
Koku.
koku.
Yeah.
Heroin.
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 Same. Heroin.
Heroin.
Yeah.
LSD.
LSD. Or I think they say sometimes L.
L. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you say high?
Laritteru.
Wareteru.
Laritteru.
What does that
I said
mean,
laritteru. That means like you're out of mind.
Out of mind.
Yeah.
How do you say snort?
Hanade su.
Hana de su.
Yeah.
Hana is
Hana is nose.
nose.
Su is like
Inhale.
hell.
So su is smoke because it just means inhale.
Exactly.
Okay.
Inhale. Yeah.
All right. That does it for today's episode.
Hi.
Drugs in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Again, super infuriating. Super maddening
Yeah.
when talking about this subject, just because we don't agree with
So many roars and
exactly.
there's some I can tell there's some power behind these things
Like
to
government.
control. Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you find our podcasts. Feel free to drop us a DM on any of our social media to give us topic suggestions for future episodes. Yeah. Anything else?
No.
Okay. So thank you for listening and see you
Arigato.
next time. Arigato. Bye bye.
Bye bye.